folks. We've had Chief Ron Patel on talking about the guns and hoses, and of course we're big supporters and big sponsors of the guns and hoses. But another sponsor of ours is also a big supporter of guns and hoses, and we invite him in to talk a little guns and hoses and talk a little low T. Kevin Moret, owner of the Low T Institute of St. Louis. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. How you doing?
And happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
45 years young.
Yep, that's right.
We'll get to that in a second. Now, as a business owner, as a St. Louis resident, you wanted to do what you could to help out guns and hoses.
Absolutely. You know, when they had to move the fight from just around Thanksgiving to January,
right,
people are much more of a giving mood around those holidays.
Right.
This is huge for backstoppers, and we've got to stand behind our first responders. So we want to do whatever we could to get some people there and really drive this program.
So what are you doing?
What we're doing is we're giving away free tickets to guys. They can come in, get a free blood test. We give away 2 free tickets for them for general admission. And then the 50-50 drawing is where they really raise a lot of money.
So they go into the Low T Institute.
Yep.
2 locations, one in South County.
That's right.
Where in South County?
We're in 4135 Crescent Drive.
Okay. And then the other one is in Chesterfield Valley.
That's right, off Long Road.
Off Long Road.
Yep.
Go in and get a free blood test.
That's right.
And then get 2 tickets to the Guns and Hoses.
That's right.
Okay. Now, let's talk about what's the 50-50 raffle?
50-50 is where when they're going through the crowd, you can throw a couple bucks in to buy into the raffle, and 50% goes back to the winner. 50% stays at backstoppers.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And you can enter at the Low T Institute.
You enter at the Guns and Hoses.
At the Guns and Hoses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the more bodies we get to that event, the better it's going to be for them as a whole.
Oh, and you guys are the ones who are running the 50-50.
No, we're trying to help get bodies.
Oh, you're
there.
trying to get bodies there.
Yeah.
Okay,
get
gotcha.
as many people there as possible.
We have a goal of getting 150 people there ourselves personally, invited, hands-on in that arena
right,
to help show support for the first responders.
Gotcha. Okay. As a sponsor of the Low T Institute, I know just enough to be dangerous. But
okay,
let's get to the blood test, because you and I both know, you and I are the same age. I'm a few years older than you. But you and I both know that men, the last thing we want to do is go to the doctor and get blood tests.
Oh, I know. It's terrible.
Yeah. And so one of the things about the Low T Institute, which I find fascinating, is that people go in to find out if they suffer from low T, and because you're a medical facility, you can then send them on to a real doctor, not a real doctor, but a specialist,
yep,
if something shows up in the tests.
That's exactly right. The best thing about this, or if guys have it, it's very easy to identify. If they don't, we can find out what's causing it. Maybe it's thyroid, maybe it's vitamin D, or sometimes it's more serious conditions. Last year in our Nebraska clinic, we saved 4 lives. 4 guys that had conditions that would not have been caught because they were not going back to their doctor. We caught them, got them to the specialist, 2 of them in the emergency room that day to help them out. So this is about getting in front of guys, getting their dashboard up, what things should you be looking at on your own personal dashboard,
right,
and then getting them where they need to go.
So you're basically, and all doctors are begging people to come get a free test.
Just, find out.
Right.
Find out.
Your prostate test. Talk about that for a second, because that's something men really don't want to talk about.
Yeah, my personal one or those in general?
No, those in general. I don't want to know about yours.
Yeah,
personally.
that'll tell you something right there. Yeah, no, that's one of the most important screenings we do. You know, heart disease and prostate cancer are 2 huge killers for guys. So we do a screening right away with the PSA test, and we can tell when it comes back, along with their history, if they're in a danger range or if they're safe.
And if they are, you then send them on to a specialist.
Yeah, we have board-certified urologists that work with us, that circle through our facilities, and those we refer out to get it treated.
Yeah. When people talk about testosterone, Kevin, people think Alex Rodriguez and steroids and, I'm going to do damage to my body.
That's right. Well, if it's not done appropriately, that's exactly what would happen. But I want you to think of low testosterone like diabetes. It's a hormone imbalance. And what we do is restore it back to that normal balance so guys can have normal energy, normal focus, normal sleep, and everything that they normally do, like eating, working out, it gets the right response for them.
So some of the symptoms of low T would be you're tired.
Yeah, you're tired. Yeah, you're demotivated. It feels a little bit like depression. They're just kind of down. Everything that used to work doesn't work anymore, and they're kind of flat. And so we find a lot of guys that are suffering with depression or guys that are on depression medication that don't need it once their testosterone levels are normalized. They're more upbeat, they're active, and they feel like life's not knocking them down.
There are people who just who are advertising taking a pill. Why not just take a pill, or why not just take a Popeye pill?
No, I wish it were that easy. It's hormone balance. We're looking at the testosterone and how all the other hormones are being affected. So you can have normal testosterone, but your estrogens are very high and giving you all the exact same symptoms. So you can't just drive testosterone up. You're looking for that hormone balance. It's like dialing in a radio station. You dial in the right hormone balance, and it's perfectly clear.
And it's different for every man.
It is.
It's specialized for each individual.
It is. We have to find the right levels for that guy, and then so he can function optimally.
I went to the Low T Institute and I got tested, and I didn't know anything about red blood cells. That's another important number to look at.
It is. It is. The red blood cells, when testosterone levels rise, your body produces more red blood cells, and the blood can get thick. And then if the estrogens aren't watched, the arteries can get hard. So hard arteries and thick blood are a bad situation. So we monitor all those things. But what's interesting is we're not monitoring it just for the low T. These are other dashboard items that tell us which way the wind is blowing inside the guys.
You told me that if you go to a testosterone clinic and it's not covered by insurance, you should run it in the opposite direction.
That was my personal advice to you, and I stand by that absolutely. There are guidelines that were put out by the Endocrine Society that said this is safe treatment, this is safe diagnosis, and this is what you follow. That's why ours is covered by insurance. If somebody's isn't, I'm unsure why, but I do know how it is covered,
right.
And that's those guidelines.
And whatever the treatment is FDA approved.
Absolutely, yeah. It's FDA approved. It's directly from the pharmacy. It can't be covered by insurance unless it passes all those criteria.
I would think people look at you or think of you without knowing anything and think you're Balco and think you're, doing something illegal.
Yeah. No,
right.
Covered by Blue Cross, United Healthcare, all of them.
Right.
Yeah, it's literally like treating diabetes. It's a hormone imbalance that we can restore and get them back.
When I first met you and they first brought you to me, I thought there's no way in a million years. And then I have a friend who we both know who went to go see you, and your doctors told him you're not a good candidate.
Right.
And I thought to myself, wow, that's really interesting. When somebody doesn't work or doesn't fit, or their personal situation is such that it's not going to work for them, you tell them. You say, thank you very much. That's not going to work for you.
Right. No, our first line of defense here is we're going to do no harm. We're going to find out what's causing their symptoms. They don't come to us for low T. They come because they're tired, they're packing on weight they can't get rid of, they feel down and out. That's what we're treating.
Yeah.
If it is low testosterone, we're going to treat it. If not, we're going to get them the results they need.
Lastly, Kevin, if you go to the Low T Institute and you get go in and get a free test, and you get 2 tickets to Guns N' Hoses.
Absolutely.
So it's as simple as that. Let's talk about the embarrassment factor.
Yep.
Because I said this on the radio. When I went to, I think I was meeting with you, or I was going in for the first time, I drove around the parking lot because there was somebody in the waiting room, and I didn't want to be recognized.
Yeah.
And then I parked in the car, and some cute blonde was getting in the car next to me, so I didn't want this cute blonde to think I was walking into the Low T Institute because I was so embarrassed.
I got you.
You fight that every day, or?
Less and less. I'm unsure how it got to that point. I mean, first of all, guys don't like going to the doctor regardless, but for some reason they've tied this to less manliness or they're losing their man card. But these are real conditions that are getting treated, and people get past that really quick when they start to feel the results.
So what I found was there are big, burly, tattooed construction workers sitting there next to me and waiting to go in.
That's right.
And next to a guy in a suit and tie, next to a chef, next to this guy. I mean, it was really a cross-section of society.
It is. And what we all have in common is we have all got to be on top of our game for our families, for our work, to stay competitive. Life is a full contact sport. And I want every advantage I can have to do what I need.
And so I would even say the women, even just tell them, because you want to get tested. That's, I think, the most important thing.
Yes.
You want to be tested, even if you don't want to do anything about your low testosterone, or you turn out that your testosterone's fine. But you need to go get tested.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Where and how do we call? What do we do?
Best way to get a hold of us is on the website, which is lowtstl.com.
2 locations, South County, Chesterfield Valley. Go in and get tested for free. And get 2 tickets to Guns N' Hoses Friday night. And then if you miss this, it's always covered by insurance. So bring your insurance card. And
absolutely.
And then you go from there. Kevin Moret, owner of the Low T Institute here in St. Louis. 2 locations. Kevin, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
8:32 here, Big 5.